Welcome, everyone, to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I'm a little nervous, sorry. Thank you, Karen, for playing that beautiful piece. I'm going to read a prayer that I wrote to welcome everyone and to open the service. May our species be guided forward so we may communicate respectfully with each other through the challenging times ahead. May we show love, compassion, and kindness to all. Help us find healing energy as we learn that we are all connected. We are all one, and our future depends on our service to all who inhabit this planet. May we all act from a place of love and understanding.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I'm Mickey Leeper, your worship associate for today's service. We gather together with our doubts as well as our convictions, with our fears and our hopes, with our failures and our aspirations, our sorrows and our joys. Whether you're joining us to get today for the first time, or you've been a member or friend for many years, we are glad you are here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, whatever your background, Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you are welcome. Now, as Michelle Worthing comes forward to light the chalice, let us all say together here and from our homes the words for lighting the chalice. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And I invite you to join together as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Dwell together in peace. Seek the truth in freedom and to help our neighbor. To these ends, we covenant one with another.
Oh, we're going to sing 1051, sorry, 1051 in the teal hymnal. Yes, please stand. Thank you. At this time, our new Youth Development Coordinator, Christine, is going to come up and do the time for all ages.
Did you know that there are trillions of tiny creatures living inside of our bodies? They're called microbiota, and they are so tiny that to them, you and your body are like a planet. To my microbiota, I, Christine, am a planet. Microbes are so tiny that you can't see them, can't hear them, you can't feel them. One microbe all by itself can't do much. They live in your planet body and depend on you for their entire lives. But your planet body also depends on them to stay healthy. If the microbiota are out of balance, you are more likely to get sick. Have you ever been sick? Yes, me too. What did you have? Have you ever had a fever? Have you ever thrown up? When this happens, it might be because the microbiota in your planet body got out of balance. Some microbiota protect you from bacteria that make you sick. Other biota help you digest your food. In general, if you are healthy, you can thank those trillions of tiny microbiota working together to keep things in balance. So, our bodies are like a planet, but our planet, Earth, is also like a body. And people are like one kind of microbiota. So most of the time, our planet is so big and we are so tiny compared to it that we don't even notice or remember how to depend on our planet. For the air we breathe, for the food we eat, for the drink we drink. But just like the microbiota in our bodies, our planet Earth also depends on us. So just like your body depends on your microbiota to stay balanced and healthy, our planet depends on people to stay balanced. So you probably know that our planet Earth is not very healthy right now. This is because people have been out of balance. Sometimes this feels like a big problem for one little microbe like me. Our planet Earth is so big, but together with lots of people, I am working to get planet Earth back in balance. I do little things, hiking or walking, and medium things like recycling or planting trees or having a garden. And sometimes I get to be part of big things. Our planet Earth is sick, and each of us are just tiny microbes. But working all together, we can push the balance of our planet Earth back.
Thank you, Christine. At this time, let's help sing the children out to the room in the back. This time, Mickey is going to lead the words of meditation.
This is going to be a cooperative venture. I'm going to read a phrase, and I'd like you to respond after each one the same thing. Teach us and show us the way. Teach us and show us the way. We call upon the earth, our planet home with its beautiful depths and soaring heights, its vitality and abundance of life, and together we ask her to teach us and show us the way. We call upon the mountains, cascades, the Olympics, the high green valleys, meadows filled with wildflowers, the snows that never melt, the summits of intense silence, and we ask that we call upon the waters that rim the earth, horizon to horizon, that flow in our rivers and streams, that fall upon our gardens and fields, and we ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the land which grows our food, the nurturing soil, the fertile fields, the abundant gardens and orchards, and we ask that they teach us and show the way. We call upon the forests, the great trees reaching strongly to the sky with earth in their roots and the heavens in their branches. And we ask them to teach us and show us the way. We call upon the creatures of the field and forests and the seas, our brothers and sisters, the wolves and the deers, the eagle and dove, the great whales and the dolphin, the beautiful orca and salmon who share our Northwest home. And we ask them to teach us and show us the way. We call upon all those who have lived on this earth, our ancestors and our friends who dreamed the best for future generations, and upon whose lives our lives are built. And with thanksgiving, we call upon them to teach us and show us the way. And lastly, we call upon all that we hold most sacred, the presence and power of the great spirit of love and truth which flows through all the universe, to be with us, to teach us, and show us the way. We will now gratefully receive an offering to sustain this self-supporting church and its ministries within and beyond our walls.
Our words for reflection this morning are a poem from Louise Gallagher, Forgive Me, Mother. Supine upon the soils of Mother Earth, I weep beneath the weight of all my days spent walking upon her bounty and never stopping to witness the senseless raping bare of the earth beneath my feet. Voiceless, I whisper incantations for healing into her fecund womb, releasing my breath in one long, painful supplication for forgiveness, begging for a sign that I am not too late to begin to heal the wounds of time spent tearing away Mother Earth's bounty. Forgive me, Mother, and hold me still in your healing embrace.
Thank you, Neil. The title for our service today is Our Place in the Web of Life. And I wanted to share some of the experiences that we went through last November. We met for 5 weeks at 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings, and we had a wonderful, wonderful group. We had lots of sharing and singing, and most of the readings and things that we've done today were part of that. So I wanted to share those with you. The last week of those lessons that we experienced, we had a potluck dinner in the narthex, and we set up the tables out there, we decorated them, and everyone brought a dish, some kind of food to share, where they had to tell its origin. Where did it come from? Which is something we don't usually think about, but think about where my coffee came from. You know, I should be buying bird-friendly coffee that's grown in the shade instead of the stuff that's mass-produced in the sunlight and that's raping the planet, you know. And so we went through all of these things week by week. The curriculum, I had kind of stumbled upon this curriculum online. I don't know exactly what I was doing, but here it was, and it just jumped out at me. And I asked Dorothy Lowe if I could do this for the adult education. And the materials came from the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth, which is an absolutely wonderful organization. And so they allowed me to download the materials, and I asked my friend Mickey to help me, and we facilitated this class, and we had a wonderful experience. We discussed ways we were wasteful, we traced where resources came from, and we shared many ideas for action. And what the objectives of the class, they were pretty clearly stated. We veered from them a little bit. We added a few little things. I threw in some books and some documentaries that I thought were pretty interesting. One of them is called The Story of Stuff. And if you haven't seen that online, you might want to look at it. It really tells you where a product came from and what's going on with it. The one about plastic water bottles was just amazing. And it came to be that some of the people in our class were guilty about bringing their plastic water bottles to class after that. And one admitted that he'd left it in the car because he was ashamed to have it. And so little things like that kind of made a difference. So the objectives of the class were to raise awareness of how and why we bring different perspectives, experiences, and expectations regarding environmental justice. Another was explore the role of gratitude as a religious response to being alive and as a starting point for examining how we live in the world and in our communities. Another objective was identify and reflect on the place, on our place, geographical, social, cultural, and economic. Another objective was explore our individual and collective behaviors, like buying water bottles and recycling or not recycling, whether you're using, whether you're consuming products that have palm oil in them, you know, all of these various things, and if you trace where they came from. Another objective was discuss and examine our impact on the values and behaviors of other human beings and the planet's limited resources. Also, begin to take a look at our congregation and our community's reliance on natural resources. And also look at how we're all connected and examine the upstream and downstream paths most of our consumer goods have followed. Pardon me. Upstream and the downstream were a very interesting concept that we did one week. I gave everyone homework every week. We were to journal and think about things, and we had to do some research. We had to think about where a particular product came from, all the way back as far as it goes, which is really surprising when you do that. And we also, each person took a different category. So somebody was looking up water resources, and someone was looking up trash and different things, different energy. And we had one person that kind of became very interested in looking into, at some later date, what it would mean or how it would be possible to have solar panels here at the church. So that was one of the things that came from it. The class presented materials that definitely connected to the 7th principle of Unitarian Universalism, which is respect for the independent web of all existence of which we are a part. And the first class was a wonderful example of how we kind of bonded. I had everyone draw something they were grateful for about the planet, anything that they were grateful for. And I've saved this because I absolutely love what I drew. It's the sun and the trees and the flowers and all of earth. And the funny thing was, after I finished drawing it, was that I realized it was the same things I drew when I was a little kid. My mama's backyard and the trees and everything, and I still remember that. So I just absolutely love this. And what was really, really cool about it was that all of a sudden, it was completely silent, and everyone was sitting there drawing and coloring. Adults, they were all into just doing whatever that they were grateful for. So we really examined gratitude a lot. And we examined being afraid for the planet and worrying about the planet and being sorry. We did lamentations. We did the Chinook blessing when we had the dinner. So we went around the room and did that before we all shared where our food had come from and all of that. And one week we all wrote letters to the planet apologizing for what part we had in it, and we brought them forward in a ceremony and put them into a basket. So we did a lot of things like that, and watched different things that told us a little bit more about the earth. And the next part, what I really wanted to share with this was the things that each person in the room kind of hit on. Second week, I think it was Mary Van Dyke, she came in and she was like, I can't believe all the products in my pantry that have palm oil in them. And we got to talking about that palm oil, and it led to a lot of things. I just recently on CBS Sunday Morning, they were talking about the Girl Scouts, how they this particular troop refused to sell the cookies because they use palm oil, and that just doesn't jive with their philosophy. I thought, good for them. So I put a lot of the things that we found out on the bulletin board. We have a bulletin board out there in the hallway, and a lot of the things that we discovered we wanted to share. That was a major thing, that it was suggested during the class that we try and share these things we learned with the rest of the congregation. So a huge list, donuts, cakes, cupcakes, cookies, pie tarts, bread, pie crust, pizza dough, potato crisp, all kinds of things have palm oil in them. And where it took me was to signing up, and I adopted an orangutan for $11 a month, World Wildlife Federation, because these are the creatures that are being destroyed, that their habitat is being lost. It is the forests are being cut down, and palm oil trees are being planted, a monoculture that is just totally destroying everything for these creatures who are on the brink of extinction now. So that's where this palm oil thing led me. And then we had another one of our members, Michelle Worthing, wanted to share with us about the oil that we use in our chalice. And she provided this piece of paper that showed the different things that are normally used in chalice. And I don't know what's in here now, but it's probably not good. And I ordered some green oil, perfectly earth friendly, to put into this so that in the future it won't be releasing any toxic fumes. It won't be made from whale spermaceti or petrochemicals or tallow that is from animals. So we're going to correct that. So these are all just little things that we can do. Mickey Leeper found an article about glass recycling, and there is an article now in the on the bulletin board out there, and I think it's Liz England who her picture's on that bulletin board talking about the glass recycling and everything. And behind my house, the Green Circle Trail leads down to a part of the trail that's called the Shawnee Springs Reserve. They have used ground up glass for the pathway, and it sparkles in the sun, and it's just beautiful. So we've got that going on right here in our city. And Nikki provided a list of the places that you can donate your glass for recycling, and the list is on the bulletin board out there also. The glass must be clean and lid-free jars and bottles. No other kinds of glass like window panes, light bulbs, mirrors may be put in the recycling bin. Some more information is out there in the hallway. Some of the other things that we came up with was we thought about all of the waste of junk mail, the tons of paper and junk mail that we get every single day. And Suzanne put together a kind of a form letter that we could all use, that we could send to these people so that they would stop with all of this wasteful junk mail. So this is her little thing. She said, I truly appreciate the work of your organization, and I'm sympathetic to your need for support. However, because of my grave concern about the uses of our natural resources, I'm returning your overly frequent mailings, which fill my recycling bin and use uncountable resources to both attain and process your fundraising efforts. I appreciate your partnership in environmental responsibility. So this is a form letter, and it's also on the bulletin board out there. And that's another small thing that we can do. We discussed the usage of water, and I have to say, David Adams came back from the bathroom all excited and said, we have water efficient toilets. And he was so excited about it. He was going to share it at the service, because this was great. So we're doing some things right. We're doing a lot of things right already, with the not using paper and plastic dishes and things like that. And an interesting fact, toilets account on the average for 30% of an average home's indoor water consumption. When replacing old toilets, look for the water sense designation. They have a new thing, water sense designation. What I remember from the 70s or whatever is to put a brick in your toilet. If you do something like that, to lessen the amount of water that's used, and any little thing helps. All right, some of the other ideas we came up with were setting up a composter at the church, having a compost pile. And I think there was one before, and maybe we could do it again. We talked about a dishwasher, perhaps, in the kitchen. And dishwashers are more efficient than washing by hand if you're doing it daily. I don't know if that would apply with the usage we have here, but if you're on a daily basis, I was surprised to find out that a dishwasher would use less than me sitting there with the water running, washing all the dishes. We also had some ideas like starting a monthly green newsletter, and restarting the plan to be a green sanctuary, which we're kind of working on that now. Jane Laura Doyle had been working on it before, and I think a few other people, and she left the book, and I've been in contact with, once again, the UUMFE to get ourselves going again. We have the Adopt a Highway coming up next weekend, and we have some other things like that. Another thing that happened was one day, Neil and John were out front with the table for the Citizens Climate Lobby, and I ended up joining that. So yesterday I was at the Earth Fair in Front Royal tabling and supporting that. So I feel like this class and everything has led me to that, and the Green Sanctuary and all these different things. So it's absolutely been a wonderful, inspiring thing. And I put this together for the table when we had the volunteer fair, and it just has some ideas of some of the things that we as a group in that class thought of together. One of them was to publish a weekly or monthly Green Living Ideas newsletter that could go in the bulletin or on the website. These include a variety of green tips on everything from reducing our consumption, recycling, and conserving not only energy, but our natural habitat at home and the community in large. And hopefully someone will want to step up and help with creating and doing a green newsletter. Other ideas for service that we thought about: post topics on our Green Sanctuary bulletin board in the hallway next to the library to encourage conversations around them at coffee hour. We were going to change it occasionally. If you go in there, hopefully it'll stir you up and you'll start talking about water bottles or palm oil, or how much energy you use driving to church. You could carpool. Okay, other ideas, create and lead the yearly Earth Day Sunday services. In this service, we could incorporate a variety of hands-on green activities to engage and inspire the children. And I see that we had some of that today. Thank you, Christine. And then have green activities for the children or teens in our congregation, such as planting a meadow, starting a small garden, creating pollinator-friendly places on the church grounds, and creating artwork to be displayed in the church. Another idea was plan and present a celebratory worship service or gathering throughout the year that are focused on the environment and our planet Earth. And for the Green Sanctuary certification, we have to do a number of projects, and some of them are celebratory, and some of them are worship. And so they're not just, adopt a highway or dig something or plant a tree, which is a great idea, but they're also things like gathering to celebrate and have gratitude and just to raise awareness. So those are some of the ideas that came from this wonderful class that we took. And I'm so appreciative of all of the ideas that everyone came up with and all of the stuff that was shared as a result of this. And so I was really excited to have the chance to share all of this with you and thank everybody that was in the class for all their participation. And thank you all very much. And I am going to now turn it back. We're going to do the closing song, number 38, Morning is Broken, in the gray hymnal.
As Michelle comes forward to extinguish the light of our chalice, let us say together the words for extinguishing the flame. We extinguish this flame, not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
What a gift you are, Lori. Thank you. This we know, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know, all things are connected like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth, befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. And this is attributed to Chief Noah Sylph.
Thank you, Suzanne. The purpose of this church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and action. If you happen to be watching us online today, we hope you will consider making an offering after today's service through the webpage uushenandoah.org. This will allow us to exercise that generosity of spirit during this time when not all of us are able to be or comfortable to be together physically. Thank you all for joining us today. At this time, the postlude.
Breaking news.
Hi, I'm Bill McShay. I'm going to be the auctioneer this year at the annual auction. This is the first time we're going to have it live since the COVID. We're going to get the band back together and we're going to put on a great event. For those of you who haven't been there before, we'll have things for you to bid on, both stuff and events that will be enjoyable for you. For example, I know there's a lot of people in the church you've been angling to get an invite to their house. This is your chance. Pay the money and they have to let you in. It'd be a win-win for everyone. I'm not a trained auctioneer, but then you're not a trained audience, so I think we'll be evenly matched. If you look at the membership book when you signed it, you would have seen very small print that said, as a member, you must attend the auction once in your life, because if you come, you'll be hooked. Like Heart to Heart Cafe, the auction is one of the best social events of the year. So come.
Our feed from Clark County was just interrupted, but please read your bulletins, read your email, find out more information about the upcoming auctions. We'll hope to see you there.